Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. We're going to do a full update. We will talk first about what happened, of course, which was absolutely crazy. I mean, as you can see, XRP on Binance dropped down to $1.25, which is a level we haven't seen since the 22nd of November 2024. Massive liquidation spike, a huge liquidity crisis, which we'll talk about in a moment. And in general, unexpected. I don't think you could have expected this. I mean, look, yesterday we obviously, this all started with the fundamentals, right? It all started with those export controls by China, and then it continued with with the new tariffs by Trump that he put on China, right? So fundamentally, that's when the volatility index kicked up, unrest increased in the markets, just like we saw in March and April last year, and that's also when the equities started to crash. But equities crashed, which was to be expected. Bitcoin dropped down as well. That was also to be expected. But a spike like this is caused by a liquidity crisis. All right. What basically happened is that you had sellers for XRP. Right. We can go to the 1 hour time frame. You had sellers coming in, a lot of them. The volume was actually quite high. I mean, the volume right now for Bitcoin is $188 billion. That's crazy. I'm not sure if it's ever been that high, but that happened for XRP as well. XRP's volume at this point of time is also $20 billion, which is ridiculously high. But then what you can see is that at some point of time at 11 p.m. in my time zone, there just weren't any buyers. There were no market makers providing buy side liquidity. There were no buyers creating buy side liquidity. So you basically had an order book with no buy limit. All right. So then you have people selling at market, and these orders much lower will get filled. So that doesn't mean that there were orders filled throughout this entire spike, but there was an order filled at 1.25. Well, that was a great trade for whoever got filled there. It was amazing. But no, I mean, and that brings us to where we are right now. I mean, I spoke briefly yesterday about the possibility with bad news that XRP would drop down lower. I thought I thought XRP would be able to hold 2.75. But I also said, if we get bad news, things can change. But did I expect a spike like this? No. And what's next? I mean, it's hard to say at this point in time. Honestly, I would be on the cautious side with XRP. XRP obviously was already underperforming Bitcoin over the course of last week, and there were signs that was going to change. But given the change in circumstances right now, I would say it's better to assume that is not going to change, and that XRP is going to continue to underperform Bitcoin. And then we have the yearly rolling VWAP on Coinbase right here at 2.25. We have the yearly rolling VWAP at 2.15 right here for Binance. I would say it's quite likely that the buyer conviction will get tested. All right, so that we will see a bit of a spike, at least into that level between 2.25 and 2.15. And then I would assume we're going to get a good reaction, and I would assume we can actually see some recovery into 2.65, 2.75 maybe. But I don't want to make too bold claims. But I would say that's most likely. But I do think we're going to initially test those that buy side conviction, right? So that's mainly between 2.3 actually. 2.3 we actually already have some liquidity hanging around. 2.3 into 2.15, get a weak reaction there, and honestly, I mean, this could just turn into a downtrend, especially if the fundamentals do not improve. So yeah, for now, I would argue I think the fundamentals will improve. It's in everybody's best interest that it does, so that we will be able to find support here. And like I said, get some stability into 2.6, 2.65, but I'll keep you updated on this. I'll be back with a middle of the day market update later today, certainly. And in general, I'll keep you updated on XRP daily as well. So those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care, and bye.